Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Verbling class. Today, my name's Teacher Amy, and today's class is talking about safe cities. Is your city, or perhaps not a city, but the area where you live, is it safe? We're going to be looking at an article from BBC Travel today called Living in the World's Safest Cities, and finding out a little bit about those places and the safest places to live in the world, and then we're going to be discussing our own opinions on where we live and whether or not we think it's safe, from what kind of perspective is it safe or not. So if you'd like to practice your English skills, I think this class is fully booked, but you're very welcome to watch and join us by sort of watching along on YouTube or on verbling.com. While we wait for everybody to get here, let me just share a couple of pages that if you haven't really been around Verbling for very long, you may not know about these. I'm going to share the first one, which is my Verbling teacher page, and if you are interested in taking any tutoring sessions, or if you want to find classes from a particular teacher, you can find those on the Verbling teacher pages. So there's mine. If you're interested in taking a look, you can also find out more information about us, about our schedules, about who we are, and you can watch some videos. So it's a good place to go and check out. If you're a Facebook person, you might want to check us out on Facebook. We have Facebook teacher pages, Verbling teacher pages on Facebook, sorry, and you can go and check those out if you're interested in just keeping in touch and seeing what's going on. You can obviously do all the things that Facebook allows you to do, like comment and write messages and like things and share things, so it's a good place to go if you want to. So check out those pages when you have a spare minute, and we're going to go say hello to the students. So first but not first, who do we have here? Anna, hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you for asking you.
Great, I'm great, thank you, Anna. Have you been going okay over the past few days?
Yes.
How's your back? Was it your back that you hurt last week?
Yes, teacher. It's getting better.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. Are you back at work yet?
Not yet. And I am forbidden to go to workout for a month.
Oh, okay, you're forbidden. All right, well,
Yeah.
take it easy, but I'm glad that it's getting better. Hurting your back is such a big deal, isn't it? Because it's like everything is attached to your back, so it's really inconvenient, Anna, and uncomfortable. I'm sorry, but I'm glad to hear it's improving. Natalia, that's okay. Natalia, how are you this morning? Or
Yeah,
this
so
evening?
it's midnight now.
Ah, okay. It's nearly this
the
morning then.
Yeah. Everything's okay. So I'm on holiday, but actually, well, I haven't planned anything special for this holiday, so just staying at home, and maybe I will visit some relatives who don't live quite so far from me. So, well, just relaxing.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. And has the weather changed, or is it still boiling or cold?
It's cold. So actually, it has been cold for, I don't know, for about a fortnight, and it's terrible.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Natalia. Well, maybe
Yeah.
you've got a chance of something warm happening again before the end of summer.
Yeah.
Because it's only the middle of July, so hopefully it might improve a little bit.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah. Oh, well, you can enjoy your holiday despite the weather. That's what British people have to do every year. No, not every year, okay? Sometimes we have a nice summer.
Okay.
Nice to see you, Natalia.
Thank you. Nice to see you too.
Natasha, hello.
Hello, Anna. Hello, guys. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. How's everything going?
Oh, I am fine. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful. And any interesting news to share with us?
Not something exactly, but I'm going with my family to camping, and it's good idea, and I think that it will that we will have a good rest together, and it's
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah.
Where did you say you were going, Natalia?
We are going to rest in Belarus. It's near the small Belarus town, and we know that there are really very beautiful nature, big forest, rain, rain, lake, and beautiful beach. I mean.
Oh, wow, that sounds so nice and relaxing.
Yes, yes, and even we are going to fishing.
You're going fishing.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
going
that's
fishing
exciting. Are
too.
you a good fisherwoman?
No, no, it will be my first experience.
Oh, well, good luck. You'll have to take some
Thank you.
photos. You get a
Yeah,
big
thank you.
fish and bring it to Verbling and show us when you get back from holiday.
Okay, okay, thank you.
All right. Hello to you and welcome. Martin, how are you today?
Fine, thank you.
Great. I hear that you're going on holiday too. Everybody's off on holiday.
Yeah, next week we're going to Sweden.
And
Where
is
we-
your location going to be as beautiful as Natasha's location sounds?
I think we've been there before. It's a very nice place. Very.
All right. And your prime purpose is to relax, Martin, as well?
Yes, that's the purpose of my life at the nowadays. Relaxing.
Oh no, that sounds just wonderful. But then again, you've earned that after all those
Yeah.
years of hard work.
Yes, quite.
All right. Well, nice to see you. Welcome. And Rowan, or maybe Rohan.
Yeah, Rohan.
Hello, Rohan. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Where are you from?
I'm from the Netherlands.
Okay. And are you in the Netherlands right now?
Yeah, yes.
Wonderful. What's the weather like over there?
Well, it's cold and rainy.
So it's the same as the poor Russians who've lost their summer.
Yes.
Did you have the heat wave come to you, Rohan?
Yeah, we had it last week. It was almost like 40 degrees, so it was very special occasion.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you do with yourself in the heat?
At that day, when it was almost 40 degrees, I went to Germany to visit some relatives. But it was just like hot as in the Netherlands, in Germany as well. I was with my relatives. We went out to eat food, to visit places in Germany. Yeah, but
So
it was very.
Sorry. Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like you weren't working at least.
No, I wasn't working. No.
All right. Well, that's one good thing. Well, it's lovely to meet you, Rohan. Welcome to the class.
Thank you.
And we'll say hi also to Ksenia, who's just joined us. Hello.
Hello.
Well, we've been discussing the weather and how it's cold and rainy in Russia and in the Netherlands, apparently. So, how have you been, Ksenia?
I'm fine, thank you.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the class. As I mentioned before, our topic today is living in safe cities, and we do have an article to read, so we're going to practice a little bit of reading and vocab. But I just want to also talk about this topic a little bit because I think it's quite an interesting one. So before we start reading, I just want to write down everybody's name in the chat box, or perhaps you guys can write your name and then just put a dash and the city, or if it's just a town, like maybe a little description of where you live. So we've got this idea. If you could put it into the Verbling chat, guys, then we can all see. So I'm going to start off, and if you could just type your name and then put a little dash and put the city, place where you live. And then we're going to use those to talk about later on once we've started reading a little bit of this article. So we can get an idea of how spread out we are and what kind of things we're talking about. So once you've put your name and city in the chat box, I'm going to just share the link with you. Cool. So I'm just going to transfer you guys, some of you using the Google chat, that's okay. I'll just change it across. That's awesome. Okay, so the article link is there for you now. And if you do want to load that up in your own window, you can. Otherwise, if you're just happy to watch on the screen, I will put it up just in a second. All right, so here we have living in the world's safest cities. And I'll just ask Anna, could you start us off by just reading this short little intro for us, please?
In these 5 cities, residents can rest easy walking home late at night and leaving their laptop unguarded. But they also know that safe doesn't have to be boring.
Thank you. Okay, so hopefully everyone understands that. Let me know if there's any questions. So before we start, let's just go along the list and we'll just give a general overview of if you think your city is safe or not safe. That's all I want you to say. So Anna, would you say where you live is safe or not safe?
My neighborhood is safe, but my town is not safe everywhere.
Okay.
There are some... Okay. Sorry.
Yep, that's good. That's a really good thing to point out. So maybe the others of you want to mention that too. I just thought, gosh, it sounds like we're on deal or no deal. Safe or not safe, Ksenia?
I think no, because in the night or in the dark evening, I wouldn't go without someone alone.
Okay, so maybe unsafe.
Yes.
All right, so Anna's sort of half and half. Ksenia would say unsafe. Natalia, what about you?
So I don't know, but so closer to unsafe, I suppose. But again, it depends on the places, on the neighborhood, as Anna says.
Yeah. And what about your particular neighborhood, Natalia? Would you say it's safe?
Yeah, so I would say that my neighborhood is safe. So I don't remember anything serious that has been mentioned by my neighbors. So I don't remember any crime, at least, in the neighborhood. And yeah, so maybe I won't dare to go anywhere alone at night. But so actually, I'm not afraid. At the bus stop near the place where I live, for instance, because it's always lively. There are quite a lot of people, even at night. Maybe because of it, you feel safe. I don't know.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, there's quite a few things to take into consideration, definitely. Natasha, what about you? Safe or unsafe?
I'm sure that the living in my center, in my town, city is unsafe. I believe my neighbors, but I know that daily happened some criminal situation because it's a big city, and unfortunately we can't live in a big city and even in towns without these situations. So I can't say that I can or my members of my family can be safe on street even in day because there are a lot of people and always somebody can be dangerous.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
That is, I'm sorry to hear that. That must be quite stressful for you, Natasha. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. But I just wanted to ask Anna another question that you just brought up for me, Natasha. Anna, would you say that your city is unsafe in the daytime as well as the nighttime in general?
Is it for me?
Yes.
You can skip me. I have to open the door. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Martin, how about you?
I would say Copenhagen is a safe city.
All right.
Although there will be places in any large city, there will be places where you'll not be very happy to walk during the night. But I would say as a whole, Copenhagen is a safe city.
All right, excellent. So we've got quite a wide variety so far. And how about you, Rohan?
I live in a small city. It's quite safe, but there's one neighborhood that's a little bit dangerous. But that's only if you live there or you know the people.
Right. Okay. So
yeah.
Generally quite safe. It sounds a bit like Copenhagen. Maybe there's one or two areas that are best to keep away from. Okay. Cool. So with that in mind, let's read a little bit about the safe cities that are presented on this website. And so I think Anna, she said she's popped somewhere, so we'll come back to her shortly. Ksenia, could you read the beginning for us, please?
Leaving your wallet or laptop unguarded in a cafe may not be recommended for most, but residents in the world's safest cities could likely do it without a second thought.
Keep going.
For many, feeling safe can be key to feeling at home. So, to understand what it might be like to live in a super safe place, we sought out residents living in some of the most stable and secure cities in the world, as ranked by the Economist Intelligence Unit. The list considers factors such as personal safety, infrastructure stability, health stability, and digital security technology. Locals weighed in on the best neighborhoods to live in. What exactly makes them feel at ease, and why safe doesn't have the equal boring?
Thank you, Ksenia. Lovely reading. Just before we carry on, I'm just going to copy these little factors into the chat box because these are some things that we can consider a bit further. But does anyone have any questions about any of the words or meaning in that little section? No? I just want to mention this one. Does anyone know, or could anyone just briefly explain what to weigh in on means? No? Nobody? Okay. Well, this is a useful little phrasal verb, but basically it just really means consider. If you think of a scale where you've got things balancing, it's like you're weighing things up against other things. So you're sort of balancing and deciding, you know, what your overall status is on different aspects, which are these factors here. So let's read about the first city. Let's see. Anna, are you back yet? No? All right. In that case, Natalia, could you read about Osaka, please?
Okay, Osaka. Along with Tokyo, named the world's safest city, Osaka embodies the general peace of mind that can be felt throughout the country. Japan in general is an incredibly safe country to live in, said Daniel Lee, founder of the local English language Kansai Scene magazine, who moved from the United Kingdom 17 years ago. So much so that locals are accustomed to leaving their personal belongings unattended on tables in coffee shops while they go and order. It's unthinkable anywhere else.
Thank you. Lovely reading. Any questions?
No.
No? All right. Has anyone been to Osaka, or has anyone even been to Japan? No? Let's ask our safe city representatives, who are Martin and Rohan. Would you consider leaving your belongings on a table while you order, Martin or Rohan? Or is that still a bit dodgy in your city?
Well, I think it depends on what it was. I wouldn't leave my smartphone on a table and then leave the table. I certainly wouldn't do that. But just a map or bag with something with not a very large value in it, I would not bother to bring it with me if I go to order.
All right, so depends on the item. Fair enough. What about you, Rohan?
Yeah, like Martin has said, things like smartphone, I won't leave it behind and go order something. But for example, we leave the doors at our home. The downstairs doors always open sometimes if it's warm. But I'm sitting at maybe on the 3rd floor, but I'm not worried that somebody will come. Of course, I can also hear if somebody comes, but I never think, oh, somebody comes and takes my TV from my house. So, yeah.
That's nice. That sounds really relaxing, kind of not worrying about that, and you're able to just enjoy the nice weather without stressing that someone's going to steal stuff off you.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting. Thank you, Rohan. Okay, let's read a tiny bit more. We've got some lovely famous cherry blossoms, I think we know about those. So Anna's back. So Anna, could you take the next paragraph from Osaka is known, please?
Thank you. Osaka is known for being business-focused, which means that people work and commute late into the night. Even at the latest hours, businessmen are on the train, and the main terminals are populated as much at night as by day, said Yoshi Yamamoto, who moved from Kyoto 25 years ago and runs the oldest known theatre in the city. There is absolutely no problem for a lady to be traveling alone late at night on the subways.
Thank you. All right. So a lady to be traveling alone late at night on the subways. Interesting, because I think this is a good way to tell whether you feel safe in your city or not. So let's see. I'm assuming that Natasha. Well, who out of these cities actually has a subway?
Yes, in my city we have subway, and it's true. When people there, it may be safe for them, but when we will go at night, after that, I mean when we will go on street at night, it can be dangerous.
Okay, so it's definitely something you need to go with a friend or someone with you at night.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Okay. Do you think the subways are, in general, dangerous places? What are the sort of most dangerous types of situations you can get yourself into in a city that you would definitely try to avoid?
No, I don't think that subway is a dangerous place. But when people go on street, for example, or use other kind of public transport, it can be such not a place situation like bad people who can say something bad, or we can see a lot of drunk people, and even it's maybe something collision such at.
Okay. Thank you, Natasha. Interesting. Okay, so Natasha, since you're already talking, could you carry on and just read this paragraph for us here, please?
Okay, I'm sorry. The work-oriented culture can also lead to friendly conversation. Osaka is a city of salesmen, and the locals love to talk, Lee said. You can enter any small watering hole and be treated like a long-lost friend. You may not understand a word of what they say to you, but the good vibes will win you over. I'm sorry.
That's perfect. Thank you. Great reading. Any questions?
I'm sorry, but I don't want know what is vibes. Can you
Good
tell me
question.
about it?
Absolutely. Does anyone know what vibes are?
It's short for vibration, so it's good feelings. Good.
Yep. Okay. So Martin, sorry, I didn't catch that. We'll go to you first.
You could say vibrations instead. It's just good feelings, good atmosphere. You should read it as, in this case, vibes.
Yes, exactly. Thanks, Martin. And anything you wanted to add there, Anna? No? All right. Okay, so yeah, good vibes is like a feeling that you get from something. Sometimes, you know, it's sort of like describing the atmosphere or a general feeling that you get from some kind of interaction with somebody else. You can also get bad vibes, which means you feel, oh, this is not quite right, or something dodgy about it. But this is good vibes, so it's some kind of nice experience that you could have. There's people planting rice in their traditional costumes, which is quite an awesome picture. And we're going to continue. And Martin, could you read for a chance, please?
For a chance to mingle with the locals, Yamamoto recommends living in downtown areas such as Ikuno Ward or Abeno Ward, where Nagaya traditional longhouses are still common. These places are relatively cheap as they have been inhabited by the same locals for years, she said. If you are able to make friends with your neighbors, you will experience the true Osaka character filled with affection, warmth, and friendship.
Could you
Those,
carry on? Yeah.
those looking for a more nature-focused lifestyle can head to the bed towns surrounding the city, such as Mino and Kita Senri, which have easy train access to downtown Osaka, as well as the nearby cities of Kobe and Kyoto.
Thank you, Martin. Okay, any questions about those two paragraphs? No? All right, so Osaka is in Japan, and we found out a little bit about it and the fact that it's really, really safe. What I want to ask is, why do you think, you know, for example, Osaka and Japan as a whole is safer than other places? What makes it safe? How did they manage to achieve that level of safety? Anyone want to respond?
Maybe there. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on, Martin.
One case is that Japan is a very homogeneous society. There will be mostly Japanese people living in Japan, and I think that will create quite a safe atmosphere in most cities. Whereas cities where you have mixed population from everywhere around the world, you can have more difficulties for them to get along with each other.
Okay, interesting point. Thank you. Rohan, what were you going to say?
Well, I want to say maybe it's because their culture is very disciplined, and they are hardworking.
Yeah.
And yeah, they have a sense of how you say that morality or something about them is very important for them. Also, if you read the history of Japan, yeah, maybe it's that, or maybe the government is very strict with them.
Okay. Possibly a strict government. Good ideas, and we'll discuss these a bit more in a second. Does anyone else have any ideas about why certain places are safer than others? Girls? No?
Also, I agree with what the guys have said. Well, and I just want to say that the idea of following the traditions, well, may also be considered when we speak about safety. So they feel, I mean, that they follow tradition according to which they know that they are not allowed to break laws and so on, and so it's some kind of absorbed by them from the very early childhood, and it's really very typical of Japan, I think.
Okay, interesting. I just want to look at those points that we've mentioned. So Martin mentioned like a homogenous kind of society, maybe, or more homogenous than maybe other places. Disciplined culture, sense of morality, strict government, maybe tradition. Rohan, we're looking at Amsterdam next. So I just want to ask you, do you think this is true, these points are true for your country? Do you think that the Netherlands is quite a safe country in general?
Yeah, yes.
Why? Why would you say? Do you think those points we just mentioned are relevant to Netherlands?
Well, the Dutch have a tradition of being very simple people. They were mostly farmers, and the government was, because it's a small country, and they have never attacked other countries, so they didn't like to go to wars, and the people are not aggressive, the Dutch themselves. But yeah, in general, it's a very, very safe country. I talk to tourists who come to the Netherlands, and the first thing that they say is that we feel so safe. Everybody is very relaxed, and but of course there's also a dark side to it. But that's only in the big cities. In some neighborhoods.
Okay, fascinating. So it definitely has to do maybe a little bit with your history.
Yeah.
And tradition. So possibly that has like a crossover with what Natalia was just saying. Okay, Natasha, you've probably maybe mentioned that you live in one of the most dangerous places out of people in this class, just out of people in this class. Do you think that, if you're looking at those points, do you think that any of those are the reasons why your city's dangerous, like the opposite? Would you say that you have lots of different cultures, or do you have, lack of law enforcement? What do you think are the problems?
I don't know. It's a difficult question for me because I have never thought about it previously, but I can say that we have a strict law, and our governments try to be more strict all time. But maybe there are a lot of people from but not. I can't say that there are a lot of people from other foreign countries. I don't know. Maybe it's our culture, but it's very sadly to say so. But maybe so, because there are a lot of people who like to drink alcoholic drinks, alcoholic drinks, and maybe after that their behavior changed and they couldn't control themselves. And also maybe we haven't we haven't a lot of people with, good education, people with deep culture inside of them also, and it maybe lead to this boring situation. I might be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, interesting points of view actually. And you mentioned alcohol, and I think that is an interesting one.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Natasha. I want to ask Anna now, because Anna's sort of said that she lives in a safe neighborhood, but in general, maybe not so safe. What do you think the reasons are for that, Anna?
Do you mean in my town?
Yeah. Do you think anything that Natasha said applies to your city, or is it different?
It's different. My city has some Islams, and the government in Rio de Janeiro implemented a new program there called the UPP. The police officers took the control in some Islams there,
Yeah.
and then the drug dealers had to run away,
Okay.
and some of them ended up here in my town, in some Islams,
Yep.
And my neighborhood is safe because we pay a security guard to take care of the houses, and I have a nice security system,
Yep.
and it's I can call it a wealthy neighborhood, and we are far away from the Islams.
Okay. So maybe there's been some religious tension is what you're saying, Anna.
Religions, teacher?
Yeah. So are you talking about Muslims?
No, I didn't. Did you hear Muslims? When?
No, I wasn't sure what word you're using. I think you said Islams or something.
Teacher, a place with a lot of poor houses.
Ah, slums.
Islam.
Ah, okay, right. Totally misunderstood that. So just try and get the beginning of the word as a nice S rather than because I thought you were saying Islams or something. So slums.
Did you hear drug dealer and police officers taking the control and so on?
Yes, I did. Okay, so slums, right. So basically what you're saying is poverty, not religious tension, right?
More or less.
Yeah.
It's
think
a power struggling.
a power struggle. Okay.
A power struggle between teacher. Sorry, my pronunciation. Um, the government in Rio de Janeiro.
Yep. Yep. Okay, that makes perfect sense. And I think that you've brought up a really, really important point, Anna.
The drug dealers run away from there, and they are settling down in the slums here.
The slums, yep. All right, that's a word you can practice, and I'm glad we cleared that up. But I think poverty is definitely something to be considered. And no, Anna, there's no need to cry. That's what an English class is for, right? Learning. So thank you for mentioning that. Does anyone else want to comment on poverty? Does that play a role in your city at all? No. All right. Well, we're going to carry on reading. Rohan, could you tell us about Amsterdam, please?
Okay, Amsterdam. With fewer than 1 million residents, Amsterdam is still relatively small compared to other cities on the EIU's list, giving it a leg up when it comes to providing a safe residential environment. The capital city also has a laid-back vibe that puts people at ease.
Thank you. Beautiful reading. Any questions from anybody before we move on?
A leg up. What does that mean?
Good question. To give somebody a leg up or give something a leg up, does anyone know? No? It's funny because this came up in one of my classes just the other day as well. Okay, this is, if you imagine you're at school in the playground with one of your friends when you're a kid, and there's a high wall and you guys want to see over the wall but you're not tall enough, what you'll probably do is one of you will stand on the other's hands, or you'll sort of climb one on top of the other so that one of you can peek over the wall, and that's basically giving a leg up. So you're holding someone's leg so that they can stand on you and then see over. So it basically means, in the idiomatic sense, to help or give some kind of a little advantage. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Rohan. Could you carry on for us from I feel, please?
Yeah. I feel incredibly safe, said Tony Interstoicer, general manager at the Andes Amsterdam Prinsengracht, who moved from New York 2 years ago. The people's free spirit makes them more relaxed about everyday things. Nobody gets agitated easily. This is true even of the police, who Interstoicer says are very present and polite, but also straight to the point.
Thank you. Lovely reading. I like this little part here. And it was interesting because we just read about Japan, and do you think that Japanese people are maybe as free-spirited or relaxed as Dutch people? For me, it seems like perhaps not. They seem to be very hard-working and quite serious. That's just a stereotype, possibly. What do you think, Rohan?
I think that the Japanese people are certainly not as open-minded or free spirits as the Dutch. Because I work at the airport and I've met Japanese people, and they are incredibly disciplined people. I'm a security officer, so if I open their bags and I look at the bags, and everything is so perfectly, how you say that?
Organized?
Organized, yeah. It's just incredible how neat everything is, and yeah. So you can see that, and also in the movies, you see that with the samurais and so they're all they're very disciplined and very serious a little bit. So yeah. So for example, I don't know if it's still true, but if something went wrong, and out of shame they killed themselves, it was very normal for them, or to save their We said there's their status or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
To save face. To save face,
Same
Rohan.
fate. Yeah.
Mm.
So you see that in the old Japanese movies a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so perhaps in this case we've got different reasons why these cities are safe. Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's carry on and read the next paragraph. So Anna, could you read while, please?
While all of Amsterdam's neighborhoods are considered safe, districts in the south, such as the Pijp and Ouds, something, are more upscale. To the east and north, neighborhoods like in North are considered to be up and coming. Hinterstoicer lives in Old West, which he likes for being only 2 kilometers west of the city center and near Vondel Park, the city's largest park.
Thank you, Anna. Well done with the the Dutch words. I'm sure that Rohan could correct us, but we're not going to worry too much about them. So it seems like that looks like a nice place and very popular by the looks of things. It looks like a park in the UK was basically packed full of people. I'm just going to say hello to Aloisa, who's kind of joined us a few moments ago. Hello, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
We're just talking about world's safest cities, so just have a listen and you're welcome to join in our discussion. Ksenia, could you finish off reading this last bit about Amsterdam?
One word of caution. No matter where you choose to live, don't expect a level house. And Amsterdam is mostly built on water. The houses are not straight. Warned Hinterstraße. If you put tennis ball on one end in my living room, it will roll all by itself quite swiftly to the other side.
Thank you, Ksenia. Is this true, Rohan?
Not where I live.
All right. It's got nothing to do with safety, but I think it is an entertaining point. All right, so we've covered Amsterdam, we've covered Osaka, so that's the Netherlands and Japan, so quite different countries. And now we're going to another point far away in the world, which is a bit nearer me, Sydney. So, would anyone like to read?
May I?
Yes.
Yes.
Sydney. Despite being Australia's largest city, Sydney's neighborhood-oriented culture keeps residents feeling safe. Our community looks after each other, said Richard Graham, a Sydney native and owner of local tour company My Detour.
Detour.
If someone looks suspicious, we tell our neighbors, and word soon gets around to who to watch out for.
Great, thank you, Anna. Any questions? No? Okay, so this brings in another point, that Sydney, which is actually a very large city, apparently safe because of its neighborhood-oriented culture. Does this, is this true, do you think, for any of the places you live? Ksenia, we haven't heard from you for a bit. Tell us about your area. Do you have a neighborhood-oriented city, do you think?
I'm sorry, what kind of neighborhood? I couldn't understand this word.
Okay, so neighborhood-oriented means that, well, does anyone want to explain what they think that means?
So it's calm areas, yes?
Not exactly calm, no?
It's like a city where people take care of each other and know each other and have a close watch. If something goes wrong, they help each other.
Yes, that's a great explanation. Thanks, Aloisa. So oriented in this sense, Ksenia, means that the focus is on you know, like the relationships and the neighborhoods. So each neighborhood has quite a strong sense of culture within itself, and so as Aloisa said, that's where the safety comes from, because they're like little teams looking out for each other.
Okay, I understand, but I don't think so. In our country, we have such neighborhood, because maybe in village, but I'm not sure, because latest years we have very difficult times. So people are so angry nowadays. So I think they were pleased if we see when someone will be in problem.
Okay.
So it's nothing pleasant and good I can't say about our country with neighborhood-oriented culture.
All right, interesting. Thank you, Ksenia.
Natalia maybe can say another things, but in our country we have very aggressive people.
Well, so actually, yeah, I would like to add something here. So I suppose it depends. Well, I mean that in big city, yeah, so you may have an impression that everybody is aggressive, but in smaller places, it's different. So I mean that, for example, in a village, they can greet everyone. I mean, they can even greet a stranger saying hello, for instance. And so it depends on places, I think.
Okay, absolutely. Yes,
this
Martin.
neighborhood-oriented culture, it depends also of the area of the city. In areas where you have houses with gardens, then everybody will know each other, and you will talk to your neighbors quite often, and you will definitely notice if some strange person is around and you haven't seen him before. Then that might be like in Sydney, that word soon gets around who to watch out for. But in the center of a city with large houses with flats in it, quite often people will not know each other very much. So the neighborhood-oriented culture there, I think in most cities will not be there very, very much, really.
Absolutely. Really good point, actually, Martin, that places with gardens kind of maybe encourages people to, have better relationships because they can talk to each other. Whereas if you're living in apartments, it's hard to find a space where you can actually meet and greet your neighbours. Good point. Aloisa, I just want to ask, where are you from?
I'm from the Netherlands.
Which place, which part?
So I was very interested what I heard about Amsterdam.
Are you from Amsterdam?
It's not my... No, I'm not from Amsterdam, but I've been there many times, and I can tell you it's not safe in all areas. So maybe it's true that it's one of the safest cities in the world, but it's not always that safe. But I also think it depends a bit in how much difference there is to the quality of life to the people in the city when there are many poor people and also very rich people. I think that this kind of disbalance causes a lot of problems for safety. Imbalance, yes.
Absolutely.
Causes a lot of problems for safety.
Yeah, really good point. Anna was mentioning that before about Brazil, where she lives, about the slums, and perhaps we mentioned poverty, but I think that you bring up an even more important point. It's more about imbalance or inequality than it is about poverty, perhaps. How much difference there is between incomes of people living in the same place can definitely cause tension.
Exactly.
All right, let's just read a little bit more about Sydney, find out some more about it. Who would like to read?
I could do it. The city recently adopted a plan to spend 15 million a year improving footpaths and pedestrian crossings to encourage walking. And Victoria Moxey, originally from Buenos Aires and founder of a local visitor guide, Urban Walkabout, believes this is helping to keep life safe. The streets are always filled with urban types sitting at coffee shops with friends, walking dogs, or just exploring the city. She said, Sydney is a city where the more you walk the streets, the more you feel part of a community.
Thank you, Martin. And this is almost similar to your point that you mentioned a few minutes ago about, being outside, right? So do you think, if you think about your personal cities, would anyone say that they have quite a pedestrian sort of a city? Is there Are there plenty of areas where you can walk around without worrying about cars and parks and nice footpaths, bicycle paths, that kind of thing?
I would say in Copenhagen you can walk along in most places. We will not have to be bothered with bicycles or cars, or so there will always be plenty of room for pedestrians as well.
Yeah. Do you think that contributes to the safety factor of Copenhagen, Martin?
I think so, because then there will be quite a lot of people walking around on the streets also late at night, so that will help keeping everybody safe and happy.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've never been to the Netherlands myself, but I've always felt like it gives that impression that people are always out and about walking and cycling everywhere. Is that true, Rohan or Aloisa?
Yes, to a certain level that's true. Yes, there are some areas where there are always a lot of people on the streets cycling and walking, and these areas are for sure a lot safer for this. Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
All right.
But also there are also some areas which are not so safe, and this isn't true, so you cannot take it in general. But I think for city centers it's true.
All right, yeah, absolutely. I think we've sort of agreed maybe that there are always kind of really exceptions in any place. There's going to be some slightly less safe areas. But I think the way a city is set up and all of the things that we've mentioned today probably add or subtract from the safety level in some kind of a way. All right, anyone else like to read? Yes, Martin.
I've been to Amsterdam, and one funny situation quite often happens that you have to be careful not to be run over by a bicycle, because on the pedestrian places,
yes,
you have the bikes that are just running on the places where people walk as well. I noticed that.
Yes, that's correct. And I just came back from a holiday in Barcelona, and there were so many cyclists in pedestrian areas over there. The bikes were more a danger than a safety thing.
Well, I think that's good in a way, because at least it means people are getting exercise and, you know, not using their car, but perhaps we need to work on cyclist-only areas. All right, anyone else like to read about Sydney?
AI?
Yes.
Okay. To make the most of this walking culture, expats often choose to live in Potts Point, 3 kilometers east of the city center, where Art Deco apartment builds and plentiful cafes give the neighborhood a New York City vibe. Another favorite option is Surrey Hills, 3 kilometers southeast of the center, which has the best coffee spots and restaurants in town, drawing hipsters, design lovers, and foodies. For a true Australian beach lifestyle, residential-oriented Waverley or surfer-friendly Bronte are about 8 kilometers southeast of the city, while Rose Bay is an upscale harbour-side option just 7 kilometers to the east.
Thank you, Anna. So that was just a little bit about living in Sydney, a little bit more. So we've covered 3 cities. We've covered Sydney, we've covered Amsterdam, and we've covered Osaka. So just to finish off, we've only got a few more minutes left of class. And we've talked a lot about the safety, but just my last question for you is, if you were to visit one of these 3 cities that you haven't been to before, or perhaps you have and you want to go back, where would you like to visit? Amsterdam, Osaka, or Sydney? So, Rohan, your choice first.
I would love to visit Sydney one day.
Is that because have you been to Australia before?
No, but I know a lot of people on Facebook who live in Sydney, so I see their pictures. So I'm very I really want to visit Sydney one day.
Awesome. All right, good choice. Martin, how about you?
I should like to visit Sydney as well, and maybe also Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But Amsterdam was a very nice place as well. I was there last autumn. I would like to go there as well.
So you're going on a world trip, Martin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will do that someday.
Excellent. That sounds good. Well, you've got some time. All right, Natasha.
Yeah.
How about you, Natasha?
Okay, maybe I would like to visit Osaka because, well, firstly, they have really very different culture for us. I think, and firstly, it's very secondly, it's very interesting that not only one city is safe for living in Japan, because according with this article, all country is safe for living inhabitants there.
True. Safe from humans, but maybe not safe from tsunamis. All right. Thank you, Natasha.
Thank you.
Natalia.
So I think that I would prefer to travel to Amsterdam because I've been to other Scandinavian countries and I know the features of this lifestyle and I really like it. But on the other hand, I'm also interested in Japan as well because it's so different and it will be interesting to visit it and to learn more about it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Ksenia, well, how about you?
Actually, I was in Amsterdam and I didn't like it at all. So I think Osaka, because I think myself from Japan and I'm in love with this culture and I like Japanese people a lot. So
have you been there before?
I'll go. No.
All right, well, that's on your to-do list, Ksenia. And just out of interest, why didn't you like Amsterdam? What was it that you didn't like about it?
I against drugs.
Okay.
And I think it's so small with a lot of humid, so it's very difficult to live there, I think, in the winter especially.
Okay, interesting. All right, thank you, Ksenia. Anna, how about you? Are you there, Anna? No? All right, we'll come back to you. Last but not least, Aloisa.
Yes, well, I would like to travel to the Scandinavian countries. I've never been there. And I would like to visit Norway. That seems a very nice place to me. Interesting also for the northern part, for the northern light. It might be something very special to see.
Absolutely. I've always been fascinated by that as well, but you have to make sure you take lots of warm clothes, Aloisa.
Yes, and there seem to be a lot of mosquitoes as well in this area, so
is that right?
Not
is that right,
sure.
Martin?
Yes.
Do you have lots of mosquitoes?
It's more in the northern part of Sweden there will be mosquitoes, but it can happen in Norway as well. But to see the northern light, you have to go there.
You have to go there in winter, or no?
And you have to go there in winter time, and then quite often you'll just have clouds and rain and whatever, so it can be difficult to see. Actually, I've seen Northern Light in Denmark in 1957, I think it was. That was a very rare thing to happen, but that was in summertime where we have dark nights there. So it was quite interesting to see. Not as beautiful as you can see it in Greenland or northern part of Norway, but it was quite an experience to watch.
All right, so it sounds, Aloisa, as if you've got to plan that trip carefully so that you can avoid the mosquitoes and the bad weather.
Yes. Yeah. I hope I will succeed. Yes.
There'll be no mosquitoes in winter time. That will only be in summertime.
All right, well, there you go. You just won't worry about the bad weather. Or plan a nice long trip so that you're there, even if it is bad weather, it will improve.
Okay, I will try.
Good luck. Let us know if you succeed, Aloisa.
Thank you.
Anna, we don't want to miss you out. We'll quickly do you before we go.
Sorry, my computer was frozen. Sydney.
Sydney, why Sydney?
Because I dream about visiting Australia. I like the beach and so on. And the culture is not as different like in Japan and you know, and
yeah,
that's all.
All Great, wonderful. Well, if any of you get to visit these places, don't forget to take photos and bring them back so we can see your wonderful photos. Thanks all of you for attending. I hope you have a great day / evening, morning, whatever time of day it is over there. And I hope to see you all again soon. So take care. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good night.
Goodbye.